Debbie with Kip's Corner. Welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I'm so excited. I finished the cover of Into the Forest. If you watched the last video, I was working on the cover and I kind of just stopped at the end and said, I'm going to stop there. It wasn't there. And so I decided to walk away. And I'll do this. I'll be working on something and my gut's just telling me it's not there yet, and I'll walk away. Now, that doesn't always mean when I come back it's what I wanted either. But in this case, it paid off. So I took what I had taken a picture of where I was, and then I started playing a little bit more. And I didn't like sort of the bottom. And then I remembered that I have some of these gorgeous pieces of driftwood. Here's one here. I pulled a couple of them out to see what might work and found this piece. I love the movement of it. The detail in it is absolutely gorgeous. And it was a little round on the back, and I just took some heavy grade sandpaper to it and spent probably 30 minutes just really sanding that back down and flattening it out so it would glue down well. And then just played a little bit more, and this is what I came up with. So we have some fibers tucked in here. This is that piece of, this is the jute twine wrapped with a piece of wool and wrapped with wire. I've just got that down there. And then the fabric pieces, not fabric, these were, this is a lace, and this is a crocheted piece that I had left. And I put these little paper clips on the edge here. And this was porcelain, and I used alcohol ink on it, and then put a coat of matte medium, let that dry really well, and then I sprayed it with a matte spray. So it's protected, it shouldn't rub off, and it's matte now, so it's not shiny. This is a typewriter key that I had. And then the rest of this were pieces that I was already working on. A little bit more fiber here. This is a little film strip piece right here, tucked back here. And I really wanted this on the bottom. I think in the original one, I had it kind of going on at the top. And so, yeah, this is the metal piece. This is from a company or just a mom and pop business called Caryville Country, I think, and they attend flea market, vintage days shows where there's different booths and stuff. And I don't see them very often when I go to them, and I don't go to all of them in the area, but when I do see them, I stop and pick up a couple pieces. And they're not available, and they don't have a website, or they don't have a online. It's just strictly at their booth, so I can't really direct anyone. I'm actually trying to find out right now from them if they are still in business, because it seems like they haven't been around much. And if they are, and if they still have metal pieces, I'm going to try to get a lot of them. And if I'm able to succeed and do that, I will share them with you all. And then up here in the corner, we have the optometrist's lens to watch these pieces. And then back here behind this, I don't know if you can see that, there's a little piece back there. That's actually it was bookmaker's label that was on the inside front of this that I was able to pull off enough of it and slip that up underneath there. So yeah, yay. I'm really happy with it. And then you can kind of see that, there you go. You see that the swishes of that embossing powder gives it, almost looks like it's raining, like it's raining through the window. So this is done. Well, it's as done as it will be until after I sew in the signatures. And I think I'm going to use, I have enough of these for a couple more journals, and then I'll try to find more. But I think I'll use these metal corners that'll really nicely finish it off. So that is the journal cover. Yay, it's done. Now I'll set this aside. Something just fell off my desk. Now I'll set this aside while I work on the insides. And so I wanted to show you what I'm doing on the inside. So I showed you some of the papers from Anton's kits. I have since folded those and rounded the corners, and I've separated them out into 5 signatures. So we're going to have, 5 complete different signatures. And the front page of each of the signatures is one of these forest images. That might be my favorite. Like so. Then I took the other prints the lighter weight ones that I had printed out, and there's 2 of each of those inside here. One of which will definitely be the center spread. So on this one, this will be the center spread. And it's because the little guy, I didn't want, his cheek cut off. So that's center spread. And I went through and found 5 of those types of images and already decided what will be the center spread. And then each side, inside, there's also another spread, and those will be separated. These will be separated by other paper. And then I just got this gorgeous handmade paper. And yeah, isn't that pretty? It's really got some pretty markings on it. And it's nice and thick, so that'll be fun. And it's light enough that you could still journal on it. So I put one of those in each of the signatures as well. So that's where I am so far. So right now there are 4 folios in each signature, 4 sheets folded in half inside each one of the 5 signatures. And so now what I've done is I've gone through and I've pulled papers and got them folded and trimmed if I needed to. And now I'm going to go through and figure out which ones of these. Now these first few here, these are from Louise Fraser from, I forgot what the name of her shop is. I will link it below. And Louise does dyed papers, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to take, for example, I have 3 green and 2 rust. And so I'll separate those into the 5 signatures and so on and so forth. I have some copied, dyed, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. And so in a case like this, where there's 3 and 2, I will do, and I think, let's see, one of these is smaller. Yeah, I made this one a little smaller. So this one is going to go into signature space number 3. And I'm just going to slip these in here kind of any which way for now, where maybe they'll go. But I may move them around later. But I will keep my outer cover signature and my center spread the same, but it's the pages between those 2 that I'll play around with. So I'm going to slip that in there. That was number 3. So I'll put one of these in number 1. Maybe I'll just put it in the same spot. Or maybe not. I don't know. That's kind of pretty. So let's put that there. And then number 5. So 1, 3, and 5 will have green. And then 2 and 4, that's pretty, we'll have the rust. Does that make sense? And that's kind of the way I tend to do things. If I have sort of an odd piece out, you always put that in the center spread, so that the center spread kind of ends up being, a little different than the rest. See, those are pretty. So I'm going to put this here. And I'll go back through and round these corners because I always round corners. That's just what I do. Yeah, I'll put this here. That's also really pretty. Okay, and now I have 5 sheets of just regular kind of coffee dyed paper. 2 of them are, I think, full size, and the other 3 are trimmed down a little. So I'll put the 2 full-size ones in signatures, and it is sort of mathematical. It doesn't have to be. It can be very haphazard. I just happen to do it this way. It just helps me make sure that I'm sort of mixing things up enough in in my journal. Otherwise, they would end up all being kind of lopsided. So I don't want them to be lopsided. I don't know where I'm going to put this one. Here, let's just put this one here. And then I'll go back through after I've done this preliminary part, and I will move things around, put them in, you know, a nice order. So perhaps there's like some cascading going on. You know, just it's really nice to be able to see, you know, where you can kind of see things connected. So I will do that after I've just gotten the base together. And I'm spending more time on this because I'm sitting here talking about it. I don't normally spend quite this much time going through it. Let's put this here. I usually just sort of flip through and just get it done. So I'm making, it seems like it's, you know, more complicated. I'm making it way more complicated in this conversation than it needs to be, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, those are my plain sheets. Now I have some ledger paper. Some of it is blank, some of it's written on, some of it's more written on than others. Let's see, how many of these do I have? Some's folded, some are not. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, I've got 6. So I may set one of those aside and see where I need something later. I've got 2 that are folded, so I'm going to put those in 2 and here, let's put that right there, in 2 and 4. And then these will create pockets later. And let's just put this in the same spot. Go. Then I'll also check to see if anything needs to be trimmed. Let's see. Put that in 3. Let's put this in the first one. Let's put it right here. And we'll put this one in the third one. So this is the one that's kind of different, and so I'm putting it in the third signature. So like I said, I'll tend to put my different ones in the third signature oftentimes. Like that. And so that's just a little, you know, little behind the scenes or a little bit of my thought process in some of this. Okay, next up I have a set of what I would call specialty papers. And these I've selected really because they are very much giving me sort of that wood vibe. This one actually does have wood inclusions in it, little slivers of wood. And so I will put these now in their places as well. So this one, let's see, I've got 3 of these. So I'm going to go into 1. And now it's just a matter of figuring out where I want them. Not there, maybe here. Maybe this one goes here. Yeah, that's pretty. And some of these kind of hang out, you know, a little bit. 1, 3. This one, I think I want here. And that's got sort of this rip, which is great. And 5. Okay, and this one think I want to put here. Then what I'll do is go back through, or as I'm flipping back through at some point, and I'll kind of decide which of these pages I want to put something on, either a pocket or a collage or something like that. Okay, now this page is really thin and this is really thick. And so I'm going to put both of these into the same signatures, and I'm going to put them both in 2 and 4. Let's see. I kind of want this here because I think that works. Yeah. And this has got a curl, but once I put some weight on it, it'll be just fine, I think. Yeah, let's see. Let's see, where do I want this one? Let's put it, you know what? Let's just put it right up front. Same with these, they've got some wrinkles in them, and so they're kind of crunch, they don't want to stay flat. But once I get these in and just maybe put some weight on it. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you something about something called push out. Push out it's a bookbinding term where your pages, as you add pages, or folios, I should say, the centers of those different folios push out and further out, and it's just because of the thickness of the paper that causes that. And so in bookbinding, they take a final trim on the edge of the book, and so the push out's not an issue. But here, these are already pre-trimmed, and so you can kind of see how this guy right here is pushing out pretty far, and that's because I got a lot of thickness between the two. This is actually the center spread. So what I'll do is go back through and take a look at it and make sure that trimming a little bit isn't going to hurt the image. If it does, I may move it. Now this is one that needs to be a center spread because look, Mr. Deer would get his head, split, he'd split down his neck if I didn't keep him in the center spread. And so I will take an ever so slight trim on that, just so, and sometimes I don't actually. Sometimes they look just fine, and actually this doesn't look bad, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But that's called push out, just in case anybody, if you've ever heard that term before, or if you've not ever heard that term before. I want to put this here. Again, I think that is really pretty. And then once I see a spread that I really, really like the color combinations of, even when I move things around or play with this more, I won't move those. Like if there's two that go really, really well together, I will leave them together. I think I'll put this here. Okay, so that's kind of the way it is. Or the way I do it. Like I said, I'm making it sound way more complicated than it is, and I just took longer than I normally do. So it's really quite simple. And now we have something that looks like this. So you can kind of see, where some of the push out is that I was talking about. Some that's hanging down a little bit. That's great. That's perfect. I like that deckled edge look. So some of the pages are ripped. Some of them are trimmed. All of them, and look, except for the ripped ones, will have rounded corners. And now what I can do is I can take my cover, I can set these in here, and I can say, okay, I've got some room here. So this is going to be, it's going to be a good sized journal. It's going to be a big one, a fun one. And then something like this, I may keep and use, I may slip it in somewhere and just have, odd different numbers of pages inside the folios, which is absolutely fine. They don't have to all be the exact same number of pages. Or I may use this for other pieces that I create. I'll come through here and make pockets and collages, and I've got plenty of printouts. And then I want to show you the other things that I have pulled to go with this. Okay, so these are some of my fibers. This is, I don't remember what it is. Banana tree fiber, maybe? Isn't that gorgeous? So I will definitely be using some of this ripped up for collage. I had pulled 2 pieces. There we go. So this is, some of this is going to be inside the journal. And then I pulled some coffee dyed paper, or handmade paper with coffee. So those little brown specks are coffee. And so I have a couple sheets. I may use this on a page where I take some of the smaller printouts, you know, and use this sort of as a frame, something like that. So I have a couple pieces of that. And then I have this other paper. It's a beautiful rust color, and it is a fiber. It's a fiber paper. You can kind of see there on the back side more of the fibers. So same thing, I'll be able to rip pieces and parts of this up and use it in the journal as well. So I have those. And then I have some of this. Won't that be pretty on a collage? So I have some of that pulled. And I have some of this pulled. And this is, I don't even remember where I got it. But it's, I don't even know what this is, but it, those are real leaves. And I thought just, you know, a snippet of this, and it's every, you know, so feet. It has fibers on it. A snippet of this might be really cool on a pocket. Might be really nice as a part of a collage. So, you know, yeah. So I have that. There's not a ton here. I've had this for a really long time. I think it's only like a yard long. So it's not, there's not a ton of it, but it's really, really cool. Really great texture and fiber. And so I will definitely, I'm definitely planning to use some of that in here as well. And then related to that, or a very similar piece, is this. It's same thing, only different. It's got the pieces, and there's a little staple there. Oh, yeah, little staple. It's a really small piece. And I thought I had more, but this is all I could find. It's got fibers. More fibers on it, extras. Bonus. That looks like a dog hair. Okay, but I'll be able to use some of this too. And it's got little gold. I don't know if that's coming up. There's little gold specks in there. Like right, like here. That's gold. Yeah, it's not showing. It shows in real life. This is real life. It shows on, for me, it's just not showing. The camera's just not picking it up. It's really pretty though. So I have that as well. So I've got lots of cool fibers and pieces and things to use inside with the rest of the printouts that I have. So I'll be making tags and pockets, and I think at least I may put just a special collage on each one of the signatures. This is really, there's a couple pages in here that'll be really, really good for collage, and that, you know, they'll be nice and sturdy enough. And so, yeah, that's the plan. That's all I got for now. I just wanted to kind of give you an update. I actually really wanted to show you the cover. Yay. Because I am really, really happy with that. Okay. I am continuing also to work on my, sewing themed journal, the Seamstress journal, that is using items from Lorna Taylor, tailor-made journals, from her stencils, stamps, and paper releases. It's not the most recent one. There's actually been a couple since then because I'm slow. And then I'm also continuing to work on my my Once Upon a Time journal, which I have decided is going to be 2 journals. I've been creating in 9 signatures, and, you know, it would be a 10-inch spine. And so I am going to split them. So the next thing I need to do is figure out how I'm going to split them. I'm leaning toward princess-ish kind of ones in one of them, and the rest in another. So that's where I'm leaning, and I'm actually, it's perfect because some of the things I pulled for this journal, I want to use to work on in some of the pages, collages I'm creating in that journal. So it works out really well. So I've got the 3 journals, which actually will end up being 4. And let me show you, let me set this aside. I have also started work on the next butterfly project. And on this one, it's going to be a box. So here's the box. This is a wooden cigar box. And I just put a cream colored gesso on top, and it's just a colorant in gesso. This is called Pale Beige colored gesso from Derivan Matisse, and that's on top. Then what I did while it was wet is I took a sponge and stippled it, so that kind of got rid of my brush strokes. And then I took a gel, an antiquing gel, and put that on top and then rubbed it back off. And so that gives us this brown speckledy kind of look. Then I went in and I added feet because this opens, it was this wooden cigar box, right? Look, you can still see my work on the inside. And it opens like this. But I don't want it to open like that because I want it to open like this. When you open it up, and there'll be a seam right here and here. And so I put feet on it. So I put regular feet on the front and the back, but then I realized when it's open, because this is so much, wider, right? This leaned forward. So I put little knobs on the front. I couldn't put regular feet because they come up on the sides and you wouldn't be able to close it. So I had to come up with a solution that didn't interfere with the face or or any of this part of it, but that gave me that balance that I need when this is open to stay standing up without leaning forward. So that's what I came up with. So I've been working on this. Yeah, it's like, okay, brain, come up with a solution. And then I took 2 pieces of 49 and Market paper, cut them to size, put a little stenciling on them, and those will be the backgrounds for the inside. So that's the start. The butterfly will be on the front. This is the butterfly I'm going to use. The butterfly will be on the front with more going on. And I thought these colors worked pretty well together. And then when you open it up, you're going to open it up to a butterfly garden. So I've had this idea of a butterfly garden in my head for a while. And so what's going to happen is there's going to be shelves in here, and I've got a wooden ladder, and I would pull it all out and show it to you, but it's on the other side of the room. And I have little, there's a company called Moth and Myth, and they are on Etsy, and they make die-cut butterflies and moths and bugs, different sizes. And so I have some, I think they're the minis. They're, I don't know, inch and a half. And so those butterflies are going to be flying around in here. And they're made of they're not just paper. They're made of a, almost a plastic-ish, like a Yupo-ish type paper. And they're printed. Absolutely gorgeous. And so those are going to be flying around inside here with some greenery and some shelves. And there's a ladder. You get the idea? So when you open this up, you're going to open it up to this butterfly garden. And then the closed is where this will come into play. So that is the next butterfly project. This is number 4. I did the fan blade, which is at its new home, or going to be at its new home. And I did a journal, which is also gone. I did the silkscreen printer squeegee board, and I haven't done anything with that. That's still here. And then this is number 4. And then I think 5, 6, 7, that leaves 3 more after this to do. So I originally thought that this would be like, get them done in a year. I don't know. It's already July. Well, yeah. No, it's almost August. So there's not that much time left in the year. But I have some cool ideas still for the remaining 3. So that's butterfly projects. So wrap up. Into the forest. Signatures are in good shape. I have some work to do, inking, rounding corners, and then I will start work on pockets and collages, and then I will do ephemera pieces to go in the pockets and collages and stuff. But the cover is done. Very pleased with the way it turned out. Downright excited about the way that turned out. And then the sewing journal, the seamstress. It is basically, at this stage, it is ready for me to sew in the signatures. So I will start work on getting those sewn. And it's almost done. It's ready to almost finish up. And then Once Upon a Time, which is right there, I'm splitting that into 2 journals. I have to decide what I'm going to do on the cover of journal number 2 and how I'm going to split the signatures. But it is also in really good shape. And the idea is that all 3 of the journals, maybe not the butterfly project, but all 3 of the 4, because I'm splitting Once Upon a Time, all 4 of the journals are done by the end of August. That's my goal. We'll see if I can accomplish that. Wish me luck. Okay, I'll be back with more on all of these projects. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber, by the way, consider subscribing. It is so beneficial to our channels if you subscribe. And I'm actually not that far away from 5,000 subscribers. And when I get to 5,000, there is going to be something pretty cool happen. I don't know what yet. I got to figure it out. But if you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Meanwhile, I will get busy and I will be back. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.